welcome to Little Learners. It's that time of year again where parents across the country, myself included this year, are choosing a school for their child to go to. So starting reception or year R as many call it. And this can be a really nerve-wracking time, especially if you have more than one school to choose from, which we will get on to. So today I want to talk about all the things you can do to make sure you're making the right decision about a school for your child. Before we get started, don't forget to click that like button if you find the video helpful at any point throughout, as it really helps out the channel. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and the bell so you never miss a future video. I think I've got about 6 points to consider. Those are catchment area, ofsted report, feasibility, in-person impression, admissions criteria, and your child. So first of all, catchment area. For most schools, most state-run schools, the catchment area is the first thing that you need to be thinking about. So what schools are you in the catchment area of? For some families, this means that they are only in the catchment area of one school. A catchment area is the area around a school that school caters towards, if that makes sense. So here is an example. Here we have a school and this is the catchment area around it. So these are the homes and the families that this school will prioritise because they are in the catchment area for this school. Now, it may be that where you live, you are in the catchment area for multiple schools, and so you have more schools to choose between. Even if you are only in the catchment area for one school, you can still apply to other schools. So it's still worth knowing what those schools are like, just in case you want to add them to the list. In most cases, you can apply for 3 schools. I will put a link in the description box below so that you can find out what schools you are in the catchment area for. Ofsted report. Now, of course, there has been a lot of controversy about Ofsted recently. I mean, there's always controversy about Ofsted, but particularly recently. And I think a lot of families and parents and carers have become more knowledgeable about the Ofsted process and the one-word judgment. Ofsted give a rating to each school when they go and inspect them. These ratings can be either outstanding, good, requires improvement, or inadequate. However, it's important to note that the one-word judgment doesn't tell you everything you need to know about a school. And just because a school is good, for example, they may have some outstanding areas, and that may be something that you want to know about. So it's really important to make sure you're looking at the full Ofsted report for that school. Also take note of when the school was inspected. Was it very recent, or are they really overdue an Ofsted inspection? Don't just take the one-word judgment, because that may not be the whole picture. I will put a link in the description box down below so that you can find the Ofsted report for whichever school you want to look at. Now, it's important to note that I am talking about state-funded schools. Any private schools may have their own criterias and reports. They have different inspections, and so for those you will need to look at them more individually. Feasibility. So what do I mean when I say feasibility? Really, I'm talking about how well does this school work for your family. So if there are multiple schools and you're trying to choose between them, which school is going to be easier for you to commute to? Is there one that you can walk to rather than drive? Is there a school that offers more after-school clubs, which will be good for your family because then you can collect your children a bit later? Is there a school that provides breakfast clubs so that you can drop your children off earlier if you need to? Is there a school that one of your children already attends, and so having their sibling attend that school will also be very helpful for your family? So really just thinking about, does this school work for our family, or is it something that is going to be really difficult to get to? Is the commute going to be too long? Is this really feasible? Then we move on to in-person impression. I implore you to visit the schools. Even if there's only one school that you're in the catchment area for, Even if you feel like the decision has pretty much been made for you, please visit the school. You need to know as much as possible about this school, and you need to be able to ask questions. And if you'd like another video on questions to ask when you visit a school, then do let me know in the comments section down below, because that's certainly something I can do. You need to be able to look at the early years provision for reception or year R, but also to be able to see the rest of the school, how your child will progress through the school. You need to be able to get a feel of the environment of the school and the staff. Do you feel comfortable there? Do you think your child will feel comfortable there? Do you have any concerns that you want to address before your child starts? So make sure you look on school websites or contact the schools to ask them if they're having any open days or open evenings, or to arrange a tour. Next, we have admissions criteria. Now, for many schools, especially in areas that are much more densely populated, catchment area is super important. But every school will have its own admissions criteria, and this will tier how they're going to select students for their school. So it may be distance from the school or the catchment area. It may be that siblings of children already attending the school have priority so that families can all be in one school. Children who are looked after children or previously looked after children will also receive priority in a school, even if it's oversubscribed. There may be a section about children with SEND. There may be priority for children who have a parent working at the school. Every school will have one that's slightly different, even though they usually follow a very similar criteria. But take a look at that specific school's admissions criteria so that you know exactly what it is. Also, if you're looking at any denominational schools, so schools that have a religion attached to them, make sure you take a look at the admissions criteria in case there is anything faith related that also comes into it. So for example, a Catholic school may require a child to have been baptised or to have been attending church services for a certain period of time before attending. Finally, your child. It's really important to consider your child in this. I know that there is a lot of information, and in many circumstances you don't have a lot of choice depending on where you live. But make sure you're thinking about your child. Is your child going to be happy here? Does this school environment suit your child? If your child has special educational needs or a disability, do you need to speak to the school about that? If your child is particularly anxious, do you want to speak to the school about that? If your child is already exceeding the expected level of development for their age, do you want to discuss that with the school and how they support and challenge students? Keep your child in mind whenever you're looking at a school. Those are my main tips about when you are trying to choose a school for your child. I am in the same boat this year. I am going to be choosing a school for my child. I am also in the position where we don't have a lot of choice because of catchment area. So I understand how difficult it can be. Hopefully these tips have helped you feel a bit more confident and a bit more self-assured when looking at schools. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or contact me on social media. I am at Little Learners Videos on those. And of course, if you want to discuss it one-to-one, you can book a video consultation with me via my website. I will leave all the relevant links in the description box down below. I will also leave some links below about how to apply, how to find out how to apply for a school in your area. Best of luck on this journey. I really hope it goes well for you. Do let me know in the comments any thoughts you're having about it. Don't forget to give this video a like if you found it helpful or useful. It really helps out the channel so much. It seems like such a small thing, but it really helps the channel when you give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so that you never miss a future video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.